out, and that's, you know, if nothing changes, if nothing changes.
If it was actually kept the money in it when that was supposed to be there.
Anyway, then if nothing changes, it would go down and go out there for another 20, 30 years. Even if nothing happened, that would maybe go below the mark and then level out. These are actuaries that talk to me about this, and I've spent a lot of time on it, and I'm not going to go back to it, but I'm more concerned about the health care and the Medicare right now. And you're right, the Medicare is on short string, and that's one of the reasons I think we need to be working on this very, very hard. So you make some good points.
Well, the thing of it is, all this has been government run, and actually the government has to do with who the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's who actually cries the most gets the most money, or who can get by the best, United States has the best government money can buy. It's who do you get as lobbyists. Of course, the pharmacy industry is actually involved, and that was a big deal that when they came on board with it. But it's a no-brainer. If they're going to add 50 million more people to access to the drugs.
We have a lot of people waiting for questions, so you're making a speech, and it's pretty interesting, but I think please get your question.
Okay, thank you.
No, let him make his question if he's got one at the end of it.
Okay, at the very end of it is, okay, it goes back to Medicare, where you said you're hoping to get Medicare so Iowa gets a fair share. It's been that way for 30 years. And it still hasn't been corrected, so what do we hope to get it corrected, because most of the votes are actually out of Iowa?
Well, that's a good point, and I've been bumped my head against that for a while. And so anyway, at this time, the other states that are in this disparity situation, we got together, we spent a lot of hours on this, and there's language in this draft, and I want to again refer to it as a draft, that will address this and use the Institute of Medicine, which you as a medical person would understand that, of course, and have them come back with a recommendation, and then once that's done, then they would, which would give them a couple years to do it, but that's it. During that time, if this draft ends up the way that it's written, those like Iowa and the disparate states would get some assistance to stop this disparity. And this looks to me like it's our first chance since I've been there, Doc, that we got a chance to fix this thing, and I hope that we can.
Hello, Congressman. My name is Esther Gorda, and I'm from Pella. And I have a question. President Obama has been going around telling the American people that under any new health care plan, if you like your current insurance, you can keep it. Yeah. Most Americans get their insurance through their employer or through a family member's employer, and recent polls have shown that most Americans are pretty happy with the insurance that they have.
Yeah.
But
80%.
Yeah, over 80%. But in HR 3200 at least, there are a host of provisions that will pressure employers to cancel their private insurance they now offer, which will then force their employees onto the public option plan. Companies that self-insure, as my husband's company does, will be required to open their books to the federal government to audit, and then they will be taxed extra if the plans that they have don't meet a federal definition of acceptable coverage. It is likely that many companies will choose not to continue offering private insurance to avoid this federal government intrusion into their private business. So my question is, sir, if this health care plan is so wonderful, why does the president have to lie to the American people about it, telling them they are able to keep their current insurance when it is clearly not in his power to make such a promise? And will you guarantee that in any health plan passed by Congress that there will be incentives for strengthening private insurance, strengthening incentives for companies to keep their private plans rather than disincentives as are in the current bill?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, first off, we don't have the current bill. And you're not listing that part of it. It's a draft. And
That was HR 3200.
Okay.
Question back here for you, Congressman.
All right. No, I want to try to answer this lady because I think she's very sincere, and I appreciate she came up here from On that issue, again, it's a draft bill that came out of committee, and then the three bills have not been put together. So that's going to be a little challenge. I'm interested to see how that works out. I'm not on any of the three committees now. We have from Brooklyn, descendant from Brooklyn, Mr. Bailey is on one of the committees, and Mr. Loebsack is one of the committees. So I have access to a lot of information, and I'm certainly been using it. I'm not getting tired of seeing me, but I see them a lot. And of course, I have rounded up the states have been on the low of this reimbursement thing. So we've kind of formed a group, so we're kind of pretty involved. Anyway, this draft, 3200, if you will, is my reading of it is that if a company is under $500,000, they're exempted. If they're between $500,000 and $750,000, they incrementally work up to this 8% figure you've heard about. That's the way I understand the draft states it at this point. So, you know, again, that's got. Well, let me address that a little bit. So we got this outfit called the CBO, nonpartisan. You know, they give you as much bad news as good news. I mean, they just sit down and analyze the information put in front of them. And they're pretty well respected. And they say that, they tell us that their analysis, that it looks like that the insurance companies will actually grow.
No. It's impossible.
Maybe some of you folks know more about these things than the CBO. They have studied this in depth, I'm told, and they proved it to me in other cases, what they did. And the fact that they'll be competitive and so on, that they'll probably grow. So, you know, that's
They go away.
absolutely. Oh, yes. Anybody's got information that you want to leave with us, but be sure to put your name on so we can, if we have a question, we can get back to you. And if you, by the way, if any of you ask me a question we just can't address, do we have some of those handouts so that we can, so we can get your information and get back to you, and we'll talk to you, and we'll try to give you an answer, because I think you deserve one. I'm pretty much okay. Alexis, wherever you are, there you are.
Congressman Boswell, thank you for coming down. Before I ask my question, I'd just like to be clear. I'm one of your constituents. I'm from Pella. Nobody sent me, and I resent people implying that those of us who come to forums like this to express our concerns. Speaker,
I don't think you've heard me say that.
No, you haven't. But one of my requests for you is to relay to Speaker Pelosi how much we resent being told we're astroturf or un-American or a mob or racist or Nazi. Because we're not. We're your constituents.